Tyler Robinson's grandfather thinks that he is innocent, says that he was framed. Do you agree? What's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of In Cahoots Podcast. My name is Nikki. Before we get into this video, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, share, comment, turn on your post notifications, hit the join button, become a member, and also hype the video. Helps out tremendously. Alright, so we're just going to jump straight into the video today. So as a lot of us may know already, there was recently a court date for Tyler Robinson, basically where his defense team had to let the judge know in at least 5,000 words, no less, that they're not ready because they have not had a chance to go over all the evidence. One of Tyler Robinson's attorneys even told the judge that she hasn't even been able to see her client's cell phone records. That's crazy. So basically, it just seems like the prosecution is just holding all the evidence hostage. They don't want anybody to see anything. Leave it up to Erika, Reginae Pinocchio Kirk, Andrew Fairytale Flight Covette, Blake Neff, and a whole lot of others. They would like this trial to be set for tomorrow, give them the death penalty, and let it all be done. Happily ever after. Investigative journalist Elizabeth Lane got a chance to speak with some of Tyler Robinson's family, and apparently somebody was also recording this conversation, and what the grandparents have to say may or may not surprise you.
Oh, your grandparents?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I'm really sorry you're going through this.
yeah, it's tough for you guys.
Yeah, it sucks. But we're here to support. So.
Yeah, we think your grandchild is absolutely framed, but I'm an investigative journalist, so
Well, I do too. I'm a hunter and I know what for the us you do.
Man, you know your guns, I can tell you that you're very right. That's why,
And
yeah,
my dad was a cop for 30 years.
yeah.
And we showed him all over this.
Yeah, of course, but
There you have it. Grandpa. Supposedly that was his gun. And he's saying, yeah, I think he was framed. I know what a 30-06 will do. I think by now we all know what a 30-06 would do. Even if you have never, ever touched a firearm before, and if you have, you're just not familiar with all the names and this and what goes there and what this is called and this casing is. Even if you just have no knowledge of it, within the last 7 months, you're probably a professional. All are at this point. We all know. Had that been a 30-06, there would not have been a neck. But you know, they just want us to just sit back and be quiet. They don't want us to say anything. Don't ask any questions. Don't go out and test it out yourself and show clear proof that that's it. It's impossible for a 30-06 to have hit Charlie Kirk. No. You have to sit and you have to be quiet and you just have to go with everything that they say. Because even in the event that Tyler Robinson did not pull that trigger and he gets life in prison or even the death penalty, even in the event of that, that's okay, because Erika is a grieving widow, and don't you forget it. So I also wanted to bring up Elizabeth Lane's podcast. Now, she did a show with Brandy from Brandy and Billy, also Danks. Basically, they were just going over a few things about the case, but she kind of in her own words tells us about that conversation. Let's go ahead and get into that clip.
Me and Brandy got to talk to Tyler's family. And I have to say that I really like Tyler's grandpa and Tyler's dad. They were all there, so both grandmas were there and grandpa was there as well.
There were 9 family members there, I believe.
Yes. I started this conversation with Tyler's grandfather, and I asked what they were to Tyler, and he said, well, we are grandparents. And I was like, oh, wow. So we got into the conversation, and he said, I think your grandson was framed. And he said, oh, yeah, I think he was framed too. And I'm a
Both
hunter.
of them. The grandma nodded her head too.
Yes. And this is the grandpa whose gun Tyler supposedly used to kill Charlie Kirk. So grandpa whose gun was used said that the 30-06, the gun, Tyler could not have killed Charlie Kirk with that gun. Like,
No.
ridiculous. Just this should be the one of the most damaging thing against prosecution.
I
Right.
would like to know how they actually got him to go in, and if the story we're being told is authentic at all.
No, I don't think so, because Brandy,
No.
we should talk about this. So what did you feel between the chemistry between grandpa and father? I think they were on the same wavelengths, in tune, and all of this, right? Like, they were very close to each other. They were sitting right next to each other. So my thought is that if grandpa thinks this story is bullshit with this whole gun and everything, father thinks that too. Well, then
Right. I don't think there's
really,
any way that the father turned him in. I
no way.
just don't. And I've spoken to another family member who was also there yesterday. I'm not going to say who, but she said that about 2% of what you hear in the media about Tyler Robinson is true.
I think that's big. Elizabeth and Brandy, they were able to talk to his family face to face, something that all of us obviously cannot do. They, I'm sure are instructed strictly to not give any statements to the media or go on any podcasts, what have you. I'm sure. Anyway, so there's another part of this podcast that I wanted to show you guys, and it's regarding the defense team and Candace Owens. Take a look.
Defense is not even reviewing Candace Owens' any of the evidence or any other evidence that there was another killer, which should be the first thing that defense should do. Tyler's defense should be considering that someone else was involved. And what they did during this trial, and this is why it's so important, is that they shot themselves in a foot, because they called Candace Owens and Israeli theory and Egyptian planes and all this stuff absolute wacko theories. This was the defense who did it.
Mhm.
Prosecution, of course, gladly, sure it is, like both sides trashed the podcasters. You were there. Like, did you get any different perspective, Brandy, than I have?
No. And I wrote it down exactly what they said.
I just don't understand why they wouldn't be interested in all other theories besides he's actually the one and they got to defend that.
Their
You know what?
star witness said himself, when I caught up to him in the hall, he said, I don't do wacko.
Yeah.
That's their answer. That's what they think Candace is, the defense team, because they're crazy. And when you actually say, did you watch an episode? Like, did you actually watch it? No, is the
They
answer.
always say no. No, I've only seen clips, and you're like,
Yeah.
okay, then you can't say anything. But
Did
this
you
was,
have you recommended watch? Say I'd highly please, like your client depends on this.
Yeah.
Watch one episode, any of them. Did they say? Have you said anything? They said they won't, or what?
No, I'm not. I didn't plead them to watch Candace Owens. It would be weird. But I asked them if they did, and he said, "I don't."
Please,
Yeah, like, it's
please,
great.
just fun. No.
like
No,
and subscribe.
He was annoyed. He just kind of rolled his eyes and walked away. I think he was getting a drink from the water fountain.
Yeah, he was getting.
And you went up to him and he was just like, oh, no, I don't do wacky conspiracies. But when the court talked about Candace Owens and Israel, this was when one of the witnesses, his name was Cole Christensen, was up, and the defense team literally was saying that there's been negative coverage about Erika Kirk, Charlie Kirk, as well as Tyler. And the defense said, yeah, Candace Owens and Israel, those are wacky conspiracy theories. And Elizabeth and I just looked at each other like, what? The defense just said that?
So what they did with that, guys, is they killed their chance to ever go back and point fingers to someone else. And I believe it's either because they are stupid or they are corrupt. One or two, because there's no other option here. Why
Corrupt.
do? No, what was it? Yeah, corrupt. Yeah.
I think corrupt
Stupid
at this
and
point.
corrupt. Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly think they're just stupid. They're typical Utah lawyers. That's what's happening here. They are typical Utah lawyers chosen by certain people that I've talked about before to be where they are so that they can misrepresent everything they've got. And that's exactly what they're doing. And honestly, I don't think they're part of a conspiracy. I think they are simply stupid. Honestly.
Okay, hear me out. I understand where Elizabeth, Danks, and Brandy are coming from. I understand where they're coming from. However, I think they could be missing a big point here. Don't get me wrong, Elizabeth Lane, she's not new to this, she's true to this. So I understand why she feels the way that she feels. However, why on earth would the defense tell an investigative journalist that they do watch Candace Owens? They are reviewing leads from her show. They are taking her findings and sources into consideration. Why would they ever do that? Do you realize that if they were to have said, yes, we watch Candace, we watch every single show, we never miss a minute, we never miss an episode, I even watch all 12 of her ads. If they were to tell her that, do you realize she would do exactly what she's doing right now on that video? And she's going to get on her podcast, get on X, or whatever the case may be, and the journalist part of her is going to report the news. So think about what a frenzy that would cause. Erika's team would go crazy. They're going to be like, no, the defense is, they're focusing on a podcast. Podcaster is controlling their every move. This is not fair, Judge. Like, really think about that. The best thing for them to say is no. With no doubt, I can strongly say that I believe that they definitely watch Candace Owens. And I believe they probably even watch Uncle B. Because Barron's podcast is just as informative and eye-opening as Candace's at this point. I mean, Erika, Brayden, Pinocchio Kirk even admitted to Candace, according to Candace, that when they had their sit down, she told her, I watched the show too. Erika said she even watches the show. But in my opinion, they cannot make it seem like Candace Owens influenced the defense team. But for them to say that they do to an investigative journalist that is extremely popular would just be outlandish. That would just be the wrong move. But anyway, that's all I have for you guys for today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button, hit the like button, hype the video. That helps me out so much, and I appreciate all those that have. Don't forget to share the video and hit that join button to become a member. And also comment. Let me know your opinion. Do you think that the defense team does not watch Candace, has never watched Candace, and thinks she's a wacko conspiracy theorist? Let me know your thoughts, guys. Until next time, this has been In Cahoots Podcast. My name is Nikki. Bye.